No one warned me that loneliness wouldn't look dramatic. No empty rooms, no sad music, no dramatic heartbreaks. It would look like a full conversations, full schedules, and full notifications, but an empty feeling underneath it all. I have people in my life, friends, family, messages, group chats, and yet sometimes I feel deeply alone, not abandoned, not rejected, just unseen. This is the kind of loneliness that no one talks about, the kind that happens while your life looks completely normal. Growing up, loneliness meant being physically alone. No friends, no invitations, no one to talk to. You can be surrounded by people and still feel disconnected. You can laugh in a group and still feel distant. You can scroll through conversations and feel like no one truly knows you. It's not being alone, it's being fully unknown. At some point, friendship change, conversations become shorter. Everyone gets busy with their own life. You stop sharing everything, they stop asking quietly. You start filtering what you say, not because you don't care, but because everyone seems tired. Everyone is surviving something. And slowly, connection becomes polite, not deep. Humans are wired for connection. Your brain treats social connection like oxygen. So when you feel emotionally disconnected, your nervous system registers like danger. That's why loneliness hurts physically. That's why it feels heavy in the chest. That's why it shows up as fatigue, sadness, and numbness. You're not weak. You're wired to need connection. There's a quiet grief when friendship fade. No fight, no closure, just distance. You grieve people who are still alive but no longer emotionally present. And society doesn't talk about that grief because no one did anything wrong, but something still ended. When loneliness settles in, the mind turns inward. Am I boring now? Am I too much? Did I change too much? Why does everyone seem to move on except me? But connection fading is not always personal. It's like pulling people in different direction. Growth creates distance, healing creates solitude, survival changes priority. The loneliest people often look the most put together. They're the ones who listen deeply, show up consistently, carry conversations, and support others quietly, but rarely feel supported themselves. They become strong alone. We have more access to people more than ever: messages, voice notes, social media, video calls. But access is not intimacy. Visibility is not connection. Likes are not understanding, but you can be seen by thousands and feel invisible. I realized my loneliness wasn't about people living, it was about me evolving. I wanted deeper conversations, slower connections, more honesty. And not everyone grows in that direction. Not everyone is ready for that depth. Loneliness is a sign that you already outgrow shallow connection. Loneliness taught me something unexpected. Quality matters more than quantity. One person who understands you is worth more than 10 who barely see you. And rare things feel lonely before they feel fulfilling. Healing doesn't mean forcing people to stay. It means allowing distance without self-blame, building connection with yourself, seeing that where it exists, accepting seasons of solitude. Loneliness is not always a problem. Sometimes it's transition. Solitude can be painful, but it can also be sacred. It is where you meet yourself without noise, where you can learn what you actually think, where you revealed connection with your inner world. Loneliness can be a doorway to self intimacy. So if you are lonely in a room full of people, you're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're not disconnected from reality. You're just craving that in a world built for noise. This loneliness is not your enemy. It's a signal, a whisper that you're ready for something more meaningful. And maybe the season of quiet is preparing you for a connection that finally feel like home. That's all for today and see you next time.